All right, kids, it is week 5, last week of the Open, and we got 14.5 on the docket. So it's pretty much what we all expected, thrusters and some variation on burpees, like a gazillion for time, which is an interesting twist on the usual Open formats. So pretty excited about that. Pretty straightforward, the weights are light, the movements are simple, but let's talk about how we are gonna approach this thing. First, expectations. On this one, I'm thinking Fran times 4 in terms of time domain. All right, take your best Fran, multiply that by 4. That is if you're doing it RX, and I think we're gonna be somewhere in that kind of range. Maybe 3 if you've got a slower Fran, where the thruster's the only thing slowing you down, the weight on that. But in terms of engine, pace, timing, I think it's gonna look something like that for a lot of folks. Now, that means we're gonna spend some time here, so the warm-up is going to be aerobic. I mean, I've been saying that week after week. This week, I mean it more than any week before, aerobic warm-up. So I like things like the 30-30, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off on the row, 1 minute on, 1 minute off on the Airdyne, 2 good profiles, or where I'd like to see something like 10 minutes with a progressive. So we're gonna start out Z1, move into like a Z4 kind of pace, last 90 seconds. So this is pretty conversational, easy, 50% effort, and we're gonna ramp that up maybe 85 to 90% of our aerobic capacity, where high heart rate, high breathing. In terms of what we're doing pre-workout to get set for that, right? Pace. Now, 2 things are gonna play in here. Well, actually, several things are gonna play in. One, something I'm gonna steal from James Fitzgerald is essence, your athlete essence. What type are you, right? He uses the Jaguar Buffalo methodology, right? Are you that fast, out of the gate kind of person, or are you that long, steady slogging kind of person? Do you feel that the workout doesn't really start until 5 minutes into it, right? Then you'd be that Buffalo type. Or do you like to do things like Fran, such that the kick doesn't even hit you till 4 minutes after the workout's already over? This is a Buffalo workout, in my opinion. So if you're that person that likes to kind of just put your head down and keep moving forward, you're gonna like this one a little bit more than last week or the week before. But with that note on the burpees, just keep moving. Down, up, over the bar, down, up, over the bar. You saw the best in the world go at it, and one of the things that characterized them is that they just kept moving. They weren't all moving at the same pace, but it was constant, steady movement. And whatever that is for you, whatever your constant, steady movement is, that's what I want to see happen on this thing. In terms of sets and rest, I'm going to apply more to the thrusters and the burpees. Burpees, we just keep moving, but on those thrusters, on the set of 21, if you're not going to go unbroken, I like to see 7s. On the 18s, like to see 6s. And what I like about that is easy math, right? Keep it simple. You'll have a judge there who's counting your reps, but something that you know that incrementally, I'm a third of the way, I'm 2/3 of the way, I'm done. I'm a third of the way, I'm 2/3 of the way, I'm done. Maybe these are 9s for you if you're a stronger athlete, but I like the easy math on these. Break it up, keep it super simple. Now, in terms of how big your sets are and how much rest, you guys know I'm sub 10 seconds is what I like to see in terms of transition and between sets. And then so your set length is going to be something that will allow you to do sub 10-second rest. So if you can go 21 thrusters and then move into 21 burpees sub 10 seconds, I like it. If you're doing your 15s on thrusters and you go 5-5-5, sub 10 seconds between those, that's great. But if you go 10 and then stand there bent over panting for 45 seconds, we dug a little too deep, went too far into the red, and maybe we should have dialed that down a little bit. So easy math, short sets, which will give a short rest. We can keep moving. And the last thing, not a lot of notes this week, but the mantra. And what I mean by the mantra, I'm talking about that self-talk, right? On this workout, most of us, myself included, are going to move into a pretty dark place at some point during this event. And so I want you to figure out what your self-talk's going to be, right? We're not going to get too sad. We're not going to get too miserable. I want you to choose that message. And it may not be positive. It may just be avoiding quitting. It may just be avoiding shutting down. And whatever you got to harness, right? If you're thinking about rainbows and butterflies, if you got your favorite song on repeat in your head, if you got to channel the spirit of your grandpa who was a prisoner of war in WW2, stuffing grapefruit peels up his butt just to stay alive and nourished, I'm fine with that. But I just want you to pick that message that's going to bring you a little bit of inspiration when you are getting close to the edge to bring you back so that you can stay engaged. And I want you engaged. I don't want you to go to that dark place and tune out, because when we tune out, we start to forget about this piece right here in those sets and rest or keep moving. We realize, gosh, I don't know how long it's been since I did my last thruster. And what felt like 10 seconds, we watched the video and it was 45 seconds. So stay engaged. That mantra is going to help you do that. And maybe it's just, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die, right? Avoiding going too far over the edge. And you probably won't. I say probably. This one looks pretty awful. But something else, right? You'll probably pass out before you die. So in terms of like working yourself to death, probably not going to happen. So we can take that as a positive on this one. So be excited about that. Anyway, so clear expectations on the front end. Get aerobically primed. Know your essence. What type of athlete are you? And move through that, right? Like keep moving, short sets and rest, sub 10 seconds. Keep the math simple on those set breaks, and choose a mantra before you get into it. Don't wait till you're in your pain cave, in your dark and terrible, scary place where your inner child is shriveling up and dying before you try to figure out how am I going to mentally toughen myself up to get through this. Pick that up on the front end. Last week of the Open, last thing I'm going to say is just let it go. Whatever happened this year, let it go. That's what you got. That's what you did. You got to test your fitness, and whether you did what you thought you were capable of or not, there was good learning there. And so now in our off season, we can take something away. What are we going to do between now and next February to prepare ourselves to do better than we did this time? Maybe it's mental. Maybe it's physical. It could have been stronger. It could have been faster. Maybe my double undersuck. You might have got your first chest to bar pull-up. I don't care what your thing was, and I promise you have a thing, but now you have a list of stuff to work on. Overhead squat. Maybe it's thrusters and bar picking versus after what happens today. But get after those weaknesses, and then let's have a really, really good off season, and then come back swinging next year and do some really awesome stuff in the Open. So have fun with this one, and yeah, I'm excited. Let's get after it.